One of my favorite photo manipulation effects in Affinity Photo is achieved by playing with perspective. This basically means that we can change the size of specific objects. It becomes easier when you can control the lighting in your photos, but it becomes harder when you're working with a furry object. In this tutorial, I will show you how I took the pictures to get this effect, and I will show you how I actually managed to get a crystal clear cutout of Buddy's fur using fur brushes. Are you ready? Let's take some pictures. So we start off by taking a picture of ourselves. I set up my tripod right here. This is going to be my first picture. We're just going to need two. And we only have to watch the sun so that the sun is consistent in both of the photos. So yeah, let's take some pictures. So we're going to set the timer, let's say. I'm going to set it on 10 seconds. And I'm just going to walk to the fan. I hope this is enough. And we're going to look up like we're looking at Buddy. Alright, so that looks good, and now we just need a picture of Buddy from down angle, let's say. So we're gonna position him somewhere, well, it doesn't really matter. Buddy, come. Omdraaien. Goed zo, ga sit. Good boy. So he's gonna sit, and now I'm gonna take another photo. Alright, I think we got our shots. Let's give Buddy a little cookie. Pikachu. Good boy. Oh, okay. Oh, he just went into the water. My whole neck is wet. Alright, let's get in. Alright, so we jumped into Affinity Photo, and here are my two pictures. So this is the first one and this is the second one. And we're just gonna start off with a blank canvas. So I'm gonna press Command N and I'm gonna use this one. So that is 2000 pixels times 2500 pixels, and let's hit create. Alright, so we're gonna import our first photo, which is our base image, which is this one. So I'm gonna press Command C, go over to here and press Command V. And now we're just gonna position it where we want it to be. So let's turn snapping on. Well, we can actually just create some space. So let's maybe go something like this. And then, well, I think I want it like so that we still have the full fan in place. And if I look now at my, if I press C, so I go to the crop tool, you can see that we've got the rule of thirds. And at the left intersection, you see me. So that is a nice place to be. And then we want to position Buddy, let's say, at the top right intersection. So that is just a little composite, let's say, or composition. So I picked this picture of Buddy. And what I'm going to do is just cut him out. But we're going to do that with our object selection tool. So we go to our object selection tool, make sure to select the right layer. Wait for it to load, and there we go. So now I'm just going to click, and there we've got a very nice selection. And I have to say that I love this tool because it's pretty decent. It is not perfect, far from it, but it's a pretty decent tool to actually get a very quick selection. So it's just a time saver. So right now I'm going to just grab the lasso tool to quickly grab his feet. So I'm just gonna, let's say, roughly go around his feet, and I see some feet thingy right here as well. There's some little nails we want to include. And here as well, like this. Alright, that looks good. And now I want to fine tune the mask. So we're gonna hit refine. And there we go. And now we're just gonna use our matte brush and increase the brush size a little bit. And we're just gonna brush over the edges, let's say. And we're gonna fine tune this later with fur brushes. But first, let's try to get this as good as we can. Like this. Well, this was probably better. Well, let's just keep it. We'll see. The hard thing is, like, his fur is white and the background is also very white, let's say. So it's gonna be hard for Affinity Photo to make a nice distinction, but it's doing a fairly good job, to be honest. If we change the overlay to black, you can probably see it becomes a little more messy, but that's fine. Right here, there's some artifacts around his nose, so we're gonna, well, we just leave it be. Let's fix this a little bit. The previous was better. And so what you see me doing is I make a selection, and when I press Command Z and Command Z, I can just check if it was better before or after. So this is before and this is after. So that is Command Z or Command Shift Z to redo, let's say. I think the before was better, so I'll just leave it like it is. Here it's messy, doesn't matter. We're gonna fix that. Let's actually try this here. This is before, this is the after. Well, both is not really good. We can also use our background brush to see if we can fix it a little bit. This looks a little better. All right, this looks also a little better. Looks good. And yeah, I don't know if this is, no, this we're not gonna do. All right, so let's change our image to overlay mode so we can just see what it looks like. And this looks very, very nice in my opinion. So I think we've done a very good job already. So let's actually change the output to new layer with mask and then hit apply. And this just puts it on another layer. So now we can copy our body. So I'm going to press Command C. We go to our document and I'm going to press Command V. And now we can actually position him. You can see that his paws are brighter than in the original image, which is kind of a bummer. But maybe we can just position him something like this. And we can darken his paws, of course, a little bit. We do need to draw some shadows, but we will do this later. So if I press C now, you can see that body is right in the middle of the other intersection, which is great, and I am in the bottom left. So that is very nice regarding composite. So we're gonna fix the mask of body. So how are we gonna do this? Let's first press Alt or Option, and then we go into the mask. So we click on the mask. And right now we can fix it here and there because, for instance, near his nose, like I know this is his actual nose. So we can just fix this. Now I'm going to use my fur brushes for this because they're very, very powerful. Let's actually grab this fur ball for now. And I'll make it a whole lot smaller. I'm going to zoom in and I press X on the keyboard to switch to white. And I'm just going to brush with this fur brush over his nose. And what this does is it actually has the fur texture to it. Let's make it a little bigger. So if we kind of mess up, you won't really see it because it already has a fur texture. So if I press X and we're gonna make it a little bigger, we can actually brush out this part and we just brush it out with a fur texture. So this is gonna work very, very well. Same for this one. Let's see if we can use another brush for this, probably this one, like so. And what I'm looking at now is everything that's white is selected and everything that is black is not selected and everything that's gray that is kind of in between. So for instance, right here, you see there's some grayish areas. So I'm just gonna make sure they are white because otherwise it's kind of translucent, which is something we don't really want because I know that this is just his fur. So we're just gonna fix that. And for these areas, we can actually also use this fur brush. And it just has this very, very nice texture. And like this, we can really recreate his original fur, let's say.
Now, before you ask, yes, these brushes are available for our members inside of Affinity Photo Creatives. It is our community that is absolutely free to join. And here inside of the classroom, you'll find the Ultimate Creator Bundle. Currently, we're running a huge sale of 68%. And if you go inside, you can see that included in the brushes are the IAMRENSI fur and feather brushes, but you can see there are way more brushes, fonts and assets inside of this bundle. Now, if you say I only want the fur and feather brushes, you can also find them right here. It is the Pixel Perfect Fur Masks module, let's say. Now, if you really don't want to become a member, then also for non-members, we've got them available right here, and also the Ultimate Creator Bundle. Links in the description. Let's get back into the tutorial.
So this is gonna look amazing, like so, like that. This looks great. This looks a little messy, but it's fine. Like we can always use fur brushes to actually fix little parts. So let's do that right here, like so, boom, boom. And now we're just gonna, I want to check what this actually looks like in the real. So we're just gonna go out of the mask by clicking on another layer. And this actually looks like it should be all masked in, let's say. So it should be white. So I'm just gonna go back and let's actually use our fur brush once again. Press B on the keyboard, press X to make it white. turn it around, make it a lot smaller, and just brush in, whoops, brush in this area. There we go. And if I want to subtract some bits, I'm just going to use the other brush, make it a whole lot smaller, and just subtract some fur bits here and there. This looks great. Like that. I think this is supposed to be white as well, so we're just going to use this fur ball maybe. I like to keep the texture because yeah, it just, otherwise you get a very rough and hard edge, and right now you actually can mask using the texture. I don't know if that makes sense, but it will just make things look way more natural, let's say. So yeah, if you're working with animals, especially with furry animals, then fur brushes are almost a must, unless the subject is on a very clear and distinct background. But if you have noticed from our original body background, let's say, it really wasn't. So if we go back and if we hide this one, you can really see, yeah, kind of, this is some weird artifact, but you can really see like we've got quite a messy background. There's like clouds and there's a tree and there's like the dirt. So right now we're just fixing everything. All right, so let's see. Let's go into our mask once again and let's see if we can fine tune it. Whoops. Gonna make it a bit bigger. There we go. This looks kind of messy, so we're gonna fix that with this one. And you can see that I'm switching between brushes quite a lot and actually changing brush sizes quite a lot. And that is just because, yeah, I want to make it look as good as possible. All right, so here we can probably use this one again, like our spiky brush. Maybe this one. Make it small, make it black, and just brush out the unwanted parts, like so. Like that. And as mentioned, like we're masking with texture right now. So that is just very, very powerful. And we don't have to be perfect because we actually do need some grass. Because obviously he's also going to be placed on grass. So we don't have to be perfect right there, but I just want to clean it up for now. Like this. Maybe make it a bit bigger. Boom. And add some texture here. Okay, it looks a little messy too, so let's actually fix that, like so. And there's another little trick that I can actually show you. Like right now you can look at his tongue, and if I brush with black you can see that we just erase his tongue, and if I brush with white you can see that we mess it up, right? But if we change our blending mode to overlay, you only tackle the gray colors, let's say. So if I would brush over, let's zoom in, if I would brush over this place right now, and I'm brushing in with white, once I brush over black you can see nothing really happens. But once I brush over here you can actually see that it respects the colors, let's say. So it respects the black and white already. So for instance here as well, if I pick white, I can probably fix this with using the blend mode overlay. Yeah, just a little trick. But now we're gonna go back to normal because these pixels are too black to do that. So now we're gonna go to a normal basic brush and just grab any soft round brush, make it a whole lot smaller, and we're just gonna fix his nose because obviously we want the details. And yeah, obviously I know what my dog looks like, so I kind of understand why I'm currently at in the process. But let's actually go to another view and let's actually put him on a different color background so we have a better view of our subject, let's say. Well, white is probably a good color. Like here you can see it's a little messy, so I'm gonna go back into the mask, go to my fur brushes. There we go. Oh. Fur brushes, and just clean it up a little bit. So I'm just gonna press B. Make sure I have black as a foreground color. Rotate the brush a little bit. and I'm just gonna clean it a little bit. This looks pretty neat. There we go. Looks a lot better to me. And here as well, we can probably fix it with a ball brush, or like the spiky brush, let's say, like this. There we go. And like that. All right, this looks pretty good. Now here you can see outside of the nose, we got the same issue once again. These are like transparent pixels. So if we change the blend mode to overlay once again, we can probably very easily tackle it. You see? We do want to have some fur here near his lip. So we're gonna go back to the fur brushes. Yeah, probably this one. Change the blend mode from overlay back to normal. Press X. And now I'm just gonna well, it doesn't look too good to be honest, so let's just actually get rid of it. We don't need these super fine details. And also here near his mouth, like we don't really need this. All right, so this looks like a very, very clean mask to me. Probably if I move it up, there's gonna be a little mess, but we don't see that. So let's actually hide our fill layer. Well, we can probably delete it. Include our background. And now you can see we've got a very, very nice composition already. So we might actually want to reposition body a little bit. Maybe slightly like this. Yeah, this looks pretty good. And maybe we can also move myself like that. Perfect. All right, so now we can see his paws are a little bright, so let's actually darken those. I want to do that with probably an exposure adjustment layer. Let's see if that actually works. I'm going to clip to body, and I'm going to decrease the exposure a little bit. I'm going to press Command I to invert the thing, and now I'm going to go to my basic brushes and actually darken his paws a little bit, because I think they're just too bright for the rest of the scene, let's say. Something like that. Maybe make them a little brighter because we don't want to make them too dark. Something like that would match the scene a little better in my opinion. Then if we look at the real shadow right here, you can see it gets not super dark, and it's kind of a very soft shadow, and we can kind of recreate that for body as well. So I'm gonna create a layer underneath body, press B on the keyboard, and make sure I'm gonna pick like a dark color here. So I'm gonna, with my brush tool, I'm gonna hold Alt or Option, and I'm just gonna grab this color right here. So that's not pure black, but it's something very similar. And now, if I decrease my flow a whole lot and my opacity, I can actually brush in some very soft detail, let's say, or soft shadow. I think it's still too hard, but we'll fix this in a bit with a mask. So let's actually create some shadows. Here it should be also quite dark because that's where he's touching the ground, and here it should be dark because it's also where he's touching the ground, like this. And like, probably something like that. Doesn't look too good yet, but let's fix that in a bit. All right, maybe here a little bit, like so. All right, so now we want to reduce the opacity because it's too dark, way too dark. Something like this looks a lot better. And now we can fix it with a mask a little bit. So I'm gonna create a mask, and I'm just gonna use black as a foreground color. And now I can kind of reshape the shadows here. It looks pretty decent, to be honest. Like so, maybe. That looks pretty good already. Yeah, this looks super fun. All right, so now we probably want some very soft context shadow. We already have it, of course, from the original photo, but I think it should be a little darker. So we're gonna go into the body layer. Let's actually rename the layers because otherwise it's messy. So this is just background, this is body, and this is all we need. So this is shadow actually, shadow body. And we're gonna create another exposure adjustment layer and just reduce the exposure a little bit. Press Command I, press B on the keyboard to select the brush tool, and now we're gonna brush over the lower parts of our subject, so body in this case, to actually make them slightly darker. Let's say this is before and after. I think that looks a little better. And I just think Buddy's face is way too dark, so that's kind of a pity. I think I messed up the photo a little bit. But let's see if we can actually brighten up his face a little bit. So let's see if we can do that with a exposure adjustment. I can try a shadow and highlight layer, but I think most times I don't really like the effect that it's doing. Like it looks kind of off. It kind of helps a little bit. Like we can use it for a little bit. And maybe like so. And now I'm just gonna try to use an exposure adjustment layer and brighten up his face a little bit if we can. It is just very dark, like I kind of messed up my photo. It is what it is. Like this maybe. And now I'm just gonna press Command I and I'm just gonna brush over his face, probably with 100% opacity. Like this. It just helps slightly. So this was the before and this is the after. It just helps a little bit with the pop, let's say. And yeah, this looks super fun. I could include a lead. I'm not gonna do that. All right, so now we're gonna do some overall adjustments to the image. So I'm gonna press Command L to create a levels adjustment layer and just increase the contrast a little bit. But as you can see, we get very easily blown out sky, which is something I don't really want, but I do want the darks to become brighter. So what I can do is with my levels adjustment layer, click on this little gear icon, which is blend options. And then we're gonna remove the effect from the highlights, let's say. And we only have the effect inside of the shadows. And like this. So if I show you now, like this is the before and this is the after, and you can see that the shadows become brighter in this way. So that is a nice little trick. Let's see what else we can do. Maybe I can push it a little further, not too far. It kind of messes up the shadows a little bit, so that like this, it looks pretty decent. And then I also like to add an HSL adjustment layer and just tweak the colors slightly. Like I like the sky to be a little more cyan, let's say. So something like this. Let's make it nice and bright. The greens, let's see if we can like change the greens a little bit. Not really. The yellows will do something. I think I like it more like this. All right, so this looks pretty cool. Now we can actually and I want to remove the effect from my license plate because it is a very unnatural color, like this. And we can actually change my license plates as well if we want to. So I'm gonna just select my license or my numbers, and I'm just gonna fill this in paint. It kind of messed it up, but we can use our in painting brush tool. Let's actually fix it a little bit. Okay, well, that doesn't look too good, but we're gonna add some text over it. So now I'm just gonna press the T for the text tool, like this, make a selection, and I think I've got a license plate font. So let's actually see, I think it's called Kenteken, which is Dutch for license plate. There we go. And it's just gonna be but D. Oh, this is Buddy 1. And Buddy is the name of my dog. Now we're gonna use a perspective warp. There we go. And we're just gonna slightly bend it. Turn off snapping. That is very annoying when doing this. So we're just gonna bend it a little bit. There we go. All right, and now we want to blend it a little better. So we can either try to do that with, make sure you select the right layer with, what is it called? Blend modes. But probably the best way is to use the blend options and to just tweak it slightly so that it kind of will look, let's see. Yeah, that's funny. That doesn't work when you have a filter combined, but if you actually group it and then do it again, now you can see that it has effect. So now I can actually tweak it and try to make it look worn out a little bit. It's gonna be very hard because it's such a small surface. Like this. Looks a little better than before.
And that is how to professionally play with perspective. Now, if you're interested in the fur brushes or the Ultimate Creator bundle, links down below in the description, and I hope to see you in the next video. Ciao.